Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, to the new video from Ted's car. Today we're gonna revisit M850i. As you might already seen, my first video was about the 8 series, and today we're gonna revisit the car, and we're also gonna talk about how the car drives and my experience for about 3 months and around 5,000 kilometers with the car. So the car was not bought. I actually did a subscription with the car, which means actually as much as short-term renting, but it was a wonderful experience. And because you might not want to see me in this video, I'm gonna play the video of I'm driving the car. And first thing first, I want to say sorry that I don't have my lights on, because I just moved into my new place. It's a quite cozy small place, and I just started my new job, and with holiday and stuff, that's the reason why I didn't upload a lot of videos recently, but we are back again. And yeah, so let's dive in with the driving impressions. And first thing first, let me throw out the numbers to you. So BMW M850i has 530 horsepower and 750 newton meters of torque, which means 0 to 100 km per hour in 4 seconds, according to the BMW. I never tested it. And it's all powered by 4.4 liter V8. It has twin scroll turbo, and it is located inside of the cylinder bank, so it has the hot V. But does it matter? Actually, no. Because this car is more a Grand Tourer than a sports car, and it weighs around 2.1 tons, and it is not a sports car, like if we take a look at the weight. But the car shines in long road trip and drive comfort. And I think when I pick it up, I did around 500 kilometers road trip. And in the Autobahn, it just drives so flawless. Like the suspension is very comfortable, and also this rumbling of V8 is not too loud. It doesn't really go into the interior, so you can really enjoy this long trip. And the X-Drive paired with the all-drive steering, the steering of the back wheel, did a very good job giving you this grip and sense of security, even when you drive it in the snow or in a less favorable condition, for example in wet conditions. As the top speed was actually electronically limited at 260 km per hour according to the tachometer, but I think it's around 250 if I measure it with the Navi. So let's go into the 3 things that I don't like. The first thing is driving in the city. There are 2 annoying things if you daily drive it in the urban area. The first one is the high fuel consumption. It can go up as bad as 25 liter for 100 kilometers. I think it's around 25, I don't know, I think around 12 mpg, but I'm gonna put it down here after I convert it in Google. And it's all due to stop and go traffic. And the second one is because of the weight of the car. You will feel it every time you stop at the traffic light, and at the end of the day you can daily this car, but I wouldn't recommend that because of the fuel price at the moment. It is not the cheapest thing to fuel a V8. And yeah, so that's the first point. The second part is Apple CarPlay, and I think this is part of BMW marketing, but I just don't get it. Why would you need to pay 300 euro to activate the Apple CarPlay? And we need to remember that this car is worth more than 100 grand. At least that was the asking price. So as I spec this car on internet, it would cost me 155,000 euro. And with this price, I'm pretty sure you can just give the Apple CarPlay as a freebie, but they're not doing that. So whatever. And the third thing that I don't like about the car is the scratchy plastic at unexpected places. For example, behind the gear lever and behind the steering wheel. And I mean, if you see this gear lever, maybe you can see it in my video. It has this crystal application, looks so beautiful if you look at it from the front. But once you put your hands around it, at the back side of this gear lever is actually scratchy plastic. And we also need to remember that the 8 Series is BMW flagship. And in the first glance, it seems like almost everything is covered with leather and it has posh feeling to this. But once you start driving it for more than 8 hours, you will notice that at certain places, they really are saving the cost. For example, as I said before, behind the gear lever, and you will touch this area if you want to park the car, right? Because you need to change to another gear. And also like behind the steering wheel, which actually you touch a lot. Yeah, at the end of the day, it is actually quite smartly done because you don't really see it if you just see the car. If you're interested to buy this car, but once you own it, you will know. So very smartly done, but a little bit cheeky. And now we are transitioning to the things that I love about BMW 8 Series. The particular model is M850i, as comfortable. And this is quite difficult to just pick out three things out of everything that I love. And basically, I love almost everything about the car. And I can remember the first time I saw the launching video of 8 Series, I was like, oh, that is one beautiful car. And now, after a year of having driven this car, BMW kind of like launched another new, like a newer model of their lineups. And I think like at the moment it's very popular to hate on BMW because their design is a little bit, let's say, brave. But here is the three things that I love about the car. And the first one is the engine. The engine and its sound. I mean, it is a big old V8. And also like this is a German V8, so it doesn't have this kind of like sound that the American muscle car has. It's a little bit more subtle, and this subtle burble that it has, it just makes me tingling every time I drive the car. And the car is also not super loud, which I kind of like, so it really keeps you under the radar. But I think it's also like, for me, it's quite important because I don't want to stand out of the crowd. And it kind of like gives you a sense of this is a car for kind of like for older audience, so it's kind of like a mature car. And before that I had the M4 competition without the particulate filter, and it was loud. And for my taste, I like actually the sound of M850i better. But I also need to put a remark that once you drive long enough with this car, if you go on a really long journey, the whole particulate filter will be burned kind of, and the car will get louder. It's not very loud, but it's still enjoyable for me. The second point, the cameras. And I mean, this 360-degree like surround camera that they have, it just makes it very easy to slide this car into the parking space. And the automatic camera option is spot on, and it is very smart. The car knows if you need to take a look at the right side of the car and the left side of the car, and it just changes very seamlessly. Why I like this? Because I think once when I was driving Volvo XC90, The car also has 360-degree camera, but you need to click which one camera that you want to see. And it was not very helpful. Also remembering that XC90 is a big SUV. And yeah, and also like paired with the camera system is also like the cross traffic assistant, and it is actually working. I said this because normally like in other cars it always says like, yeah, we have this cross traffic assistant, so it will show you if you, like for example, you are driving backwards from the parking position, and like a bicycle or something will come from the right, it will really like blinks red, so it will tell you. And normally in other cars, like I think like Panamera, also the Volvo, it has this, but it just, I think like 50% of the time it didn't work, but in 8 Series it works almost all the time, I can say. And it just makes driving the car a lot easier, because you need to know that like the visibility out of the 8 Series is not the best in the market. So without this camera, it's just a little bit challenging to drive this car around in the city. Now, to top it all off, the third thing that I love is the input options for iDrive. You can use the touch screen, you can use voice command, which also can hear my voice with this accent. I mean, it's set in German, so I need to give the command in German, and it understands me 90% of the time. It is really good. And of course, you can also do inputs through the buttons, and that's huge. In now 2022, it is huge. I mean, it still has button, and my daily right now, the Audi e-tron, it has this latest MMI touch with this capacitive feedback and whatever, but sometimes it's just quite annoying to operate the MMI when you are up to speed, like if you're driving in the motorway, for example. And sometimes it can be quite dangerous. For example, if you touch or press the wrong button and it just didn't do what you wish to do, and then you need to take a look. I mean, at 150 km per hour, that's not the safest thing to do. And I think like one thing that I really like about the iDrive is that you can and you still have the option to operate the infotainment with the swivel wheel. And also like there's this shortcut buttons, and I mean, of course it can look a little bit old school and not so modern, but it just works. And once you get used to it, it's kind of like a safer option in comparison to use the touchscreen, and especially if certain things like climate control or for example like seat heating is hidden inside of the menu. That's actually a lot of work to do when you need to drive, especially if you're driving in a bigger cities like Berlin or Amsterdam or Paris or London. Yeah, it requires some effort to operate that. So yeah, good job BMW to keep these options. Love it to bits. And also like for the voice command, one of the best in the business. And there's like an extra for things that I love about the 8 Series is that it's just so quiet in the cabin. It's so quiet, and I mean, of course it's not quieter than the e-tron because it's an electric car, but as a V8, and this is the reason why I called it a Grand Tourer, it's just so quiet, and it's paired with this with the sublime suspension. It creates this sense of luxury. And we need to remember this car costs 150 grand, which is a lot cheaper than Bentley. And Bentley Continental is known to be the summit of the luxury. And in this sense, it's actually kind of like a similar package for less money as Bentley, and I salute BMW for that. And now in 2022, and why we are revisiting this car is to take a look how much the used car costs in the used market. I actually like keep tab on that, and I saw like you can get M850i. I think in this case it's a coupe for around 72,000 euro. So it lost 50% of its value after around 3 to 4 years, which is actually a very good value for this car. And because it's like a GT car, it looks good. It has the V8, and we don't know until when we can still have V8 on our roads. So it is actually, now is a good time to get a used V8, a used M850i. And I think with the suspension, which is a little bit softer than M8 competition, is a better package, because as a Grand Tourer you might want to have a softer suspension, and the fact that it is still carry V8 with 530 horsepower, I think you have all the power you need if you use this car as a Grand Tourer. But at the same time, you cannot forget that this car used to be a 150 grand car. So when the time comes for servicing, it's gonna cost more than a 70k car, like, I don't know, BMW 5 Series. So back in the days, I didn't need to do the service, because in the subscription package it's included everything like tax, also insurance, also changing tires, is everything already inside, so I didn't know. But last time I asked my colleague who worked at BMW. She said it will run you around 1,000 to 1,500 euro in general for service. And of course, like with BMW, you don't have like this like fixed interval for service. The car will tell you if the car needs service. But she said you can expect between 800 until 1,500 euro for the service. And they also recommend you to change the oil every year if you intend to keep the car. So I think at the end of the day, yes, for the purchase, it is a very good price for 8 Series, but you need to keep in mind that owning car is not just about purchasing the car, but it's also about maintaining the car, and also about insurance. I actually haven't checked, but I can imagine it's not that cheap, especially if you're a younger driver, and also it depends where you live. But yeah, but if you are considering BMW 8 Series, right now it is a good time to purchase. And if you can afford the maintenance, I would say go for it. And yeah, I think that's it for this video. For the coming videos, we're gonna take a look at the M5. So it is part of my car shopping series. At the moment, I'm still thinking about which car I would get for this year and for next year as well, because the e-tron is gonna go back. It is on leasing, and it is gonna be sent back in 2023. So I'm also looking for my new daily. But yeah, next video is gonna be about the M5, and I think I will also do some videos about some electric cars that I consider for my daily, because looking at the gas price right now, I think it is a good idea to run an EV and an ICE together in my fleet. So yeah, if you like this video, please give a like and hit that subscribe button. And the next time, I'm gonna have the lights going. And if you like this format, please leave a comment. So in the meantime, stay safe, and I'm gonna see you in the next video. Ciao.